think he's a testy, slightly aggro, confrontational figure, and I think those were some of his best qualities when he first came to English football with Chelsea. I think that you cannot dispute the man's CV. He's won it all, but I think he's lost a little bit of the charm that went along with that kind of more adversarial approach, I suppose. So whereas once he had this kind of roughish kind of quality to him, I don't think he quite has that anymore. I think he just comes across as a bit rude sometimes, comes across as unhappy. I think in the main, you look at him on the touchline, doesn't look like he's particularly enjoying himself. So I think that in a way bleeds into the feeling on the pitch and in the stands sometimes. I think he still has them tactical now, certainly, and I think we're beginning to see United play in a way that they haven't been able to the last few years, get a bit more belief in the side, so I think he deserves credit for that much. Largely, I still believe that he's going to do a fairly good job and get us back in some kind of reasonable shape after a bad few years, but I don't think he's going to be, embraced and taken to the hearts of fans just because of the way he is. Not sure luck is quite everything in this case. I think, there are times when we haven't scored the goals that our play has deserved, but that's not really just down to luck. That's down to finishing, that's down to the number of players we commit to attack sometimes, the players we pick. I think things are getting better, and I think we certainly have given away points that we probably should have won. Games, thinking about against Burnley, against Stoke, against Arsenal, there were, 2 points dropped on each of those occasions, I think, and I think that's what he means almost. He says we're unlucky, and that's, his prerogative to spin it that way. But fundamentally, we didn't score the goals we needed to win those games. So, it's a failing of the team rather than just pure luck. I think we're going to be hard pressed to mount a title bid from this point. So I think probably the best we can hope for is sneaking into the top 4. I think that'll be tricky still because there's a lot of good teams this season. But a good cup run, I think, FA Cup, maybe even Europa League. We've got Saint Etienne in the next round. Should be an interesting fixture. I wouldn't say that's beyond us, that competition. If we play the way we have done the last couple of games, there's every chance we can have a good run in that, and I think that will hopefully divert attention away from what could be quite a frustrating league campaign if we end up just outside the top 4. I think I've been largely impressed with Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We all know what he was going to offer. He's not someone who's got the pace of some of the more thrilling strikers in the world, but he lacks in that speed. He makes up for in quickness of thought, and you can't really argue with the goals he's scored so far. He's been the one constant threat we've had. I guess what you could say is that having him in the side maybe takes away from some of the more pacey forwards, stops Anthony Martial or Marcus Rashford starting centrally, which may be holding them back a bit. But I think as far as experience goes and pure, in terms of just being hard to play against, I think he still provides plenty of threat, and I think wouldn't be surprised to see him renew his contract. Paul Pogba, of course, I think he had quite a slow start, probably shuffling around between a few positions, but he's shown a bit in recent games that he can grow into the side, and there's no doubt the quality's there. I think he just needs to find a bit of that confidence that we know he doesn't really lack, but maybe just finding his feet again in the Premier League after a fairly long absence. And Henrik Mkhitaryan, who's really come to the fore the last few weeks. Difficult first few months, and Mourinho just, I think from most people's point of view, just pointlessly making a scapegoat of him on occasion when he was kind of gaining fitness and then just wasn't involved in the squad week after week. He's shown the last 3 or 4 weeks with some really sparky performances what he can do. He's doing very well. Obviously, look, really, I've only seen a couple of Palace matches, but a lot of highlights recently, and he's been very impressive. We always, I think most people realised all along that he's had a great deal of talent. His footwork is very, very impressive, up there with the best in the league, I'd say. He's got the physical attributes that you need to be a top quality winger. I think just consistency is something that he's started to add to his game now, which has made him a much bigger threat. Looks like he's enjoying playing with a proper attacking aerial threat in the box. Christian Benteke, you've seen a few times that Zaha kind of doing those kind of almost driven crosses that Benteke seems to thrive on. That's going well. I think he will definitely be a threat to us. We've been playing Matteo Darmian at left back, not the best defender. You can definitely have some fun against him. And on the other side, Antonio Valencia is suspended, so even switching sides a bit, I think on either flank he could definitely cause us problems. And of course, he'll be keen to make an impression, having been ditched by United so quickly. You can't defend. You good at attacking, so I think you can probably score. We'll probably score. I think something like looking optimistically, maybe a 2-1 victory for us, but every chance that you could make a game of it and grab a draw. See how it goes.